All right, being 5:15, I'd like to call the Finance Personnel Committee meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Voted. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
Or not.
Can I get a motion?
So moved to accept the
Second.
agenda.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington, second by Mr. Roberts. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. For the approval of the October 8th finance meeting minutes.
Move to approve the minutes. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Pache, seconded by Mr. Bisall. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment? We're gonna skip right over that one. Contract amendment with Survey Group and Company for the 2026 reassessment evaluation. Judy?
I will start this and then Chad, if there's anything you want to add, please feel free to do that. So last year, I think it was about this time, Adam came in and we were looking at a reval, I believe, actually for 2020, for this year. And then we decided to push that reval off for next year. So 2026 is when we're actually doing our city-wide reval. So what this does is there's an amendment to the original contract that gives all the new dates. So the assessor will now do the reval beginning January 1 in 2026. And then it'll be completed by October 1st of 2026. So basically, what needs to happen is we need to approve the amendment that Adam has provided for us so that we can move forward with the reval in 2026. He also, just to note, he honored his 2025 price, and that's $18,400. I don't think he specifically listed that on here. That's just a side note. Anything to add, Chad?
You got it.
Okay.
Pretty much it.
How long's it
been
since the last?
What?
I might have.
It's weird.
Where's my reval money? Here we go. Last reval, 27-28. So it took 2 years.
What did you say?
Not 27, 28. That's
2017, 2018, sorry.
It's like, wait a minute.
You're
we're-
looking at me like, what? 2017.
We're out of compliance, aren't we? We have to
We
do
are,
this.
yes,
Okay.
we did receive the letter, so.
Yeah, the reevaluation, reassessment is required by the state because your ratio goes down to a point where they knock on your door and say, yep, you have to do it. And again, so when people hear about reevaluation, that does not mean the city is getting more money to spend. The levy, the amount of money the city levies to operate is the same. It's redistributing the amount of the levy based on the reevaluation. So if someone's property goes up, they pay more of the pot. If someone's property goes down in the reevaluation, they pay less of the pot. So it's not that the city's getting more money, it's just redistributing based on evaluation of property. And I'm sure we'll go through all of that. Once we start doing the evaluation process, we will get information out how that works and what it's all about.
Is there any discussion? Gonna get a motion?
So moved to accept the change to the amendment.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Barrington, second by Mr. Pache. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, 2026 budget ordinance. Judy?
All right, so after presentation of the 26th budget, the next item that has to be presented to the committee is this budget ordinance. And these specific categories, in particular, the expenditures, which say, general government, public safety, these are required by the state of Wisconsin. In fact, the ordinance itself is required by the state of Wisconsin, that it goes through first finance and then goes to council. So this is based on the information that I presented. There was no changes from the night of presentation. Any questions on that? So you can see that the general fund revenues, we have a balanced budget, general fund expenditures at $9 million. Our capital fund revenue at 500,000, our expenditures at 500,000. And then on the back, I list the wheel tax at 130 and expenditures of 130. And then our debt service, revenue, which is all taxes. And then our debt service expenditures, which breaks it down by principal and interest. Again, and then so our total tax levy, 4,195,928. And we will be holding a public hearing on this information, if anyone has any questions in detail about that, prior to the council meeting, both this and sewage plant. So I have everything with me if you have additional questions, but again, this is everything that was presented to you at the meeting on the budget.
I'll move to approve the 2026 budget ordinance.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Boucher, seconded by Mr. Beasall. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Move on to finance director's monthly financial reports. Judy?
All right, so tonight, presenting September, so we are 75% of the way through the year when it comes to the financial statements. And we go down to here. One of the things I do want to point out is that when we switched our health insurance carrier, we did not have health insurance hit the September statements. There'll be a dual in October. So you'll see that some of them look a little like 67%, should be closer to 70% or 75%, but that'll be a catch up next month. We had a switch in. Sometimes the health insurance carriers like to pay the month before, and sometimes they like to be paid on the first of the actual month. So when you have that switch in just one day, it changes your financial statements for a month. So I don't see any issues. Our insurance is at 117, but why is that up there? Is at 117, 117%, but we will receive a dividend back in the utilities. I actually got a hold of them because we have a payable book from them too. So this will come back into more normal numbers once I get that booked. We receive that revenue. Equipment replacement, we do plan on using some designated funds for this, and again in February when I go through the year-end adjustments, we'll talk about that, and I'll move the dollars that we have designated for these. Equipment is at 65%, which is nice to see when we're running at 75% as far as the year calendar is concerned. Debt service, most of our debt service is paid early in the year. And then capital projects, same thing. Some of those items are actually paid for by debt service, and that revenue comes in later in the year or in February when I close everything out. So far, everything on the expenditure side looks like we will come within budget or under budget for the year. Any questions on the expenditures? And we'll move on to the revenues. And some of the larger ones, the tax equivalents, I think Jay actually presents that at the December meeting. So we will see them tax equivalent dollars coming in December. Our shared revenue will be coming in on November 17th. That's a large amount of dollars that we'll be seeing on the 17th. again, on the or on the revenue side, I don't see any of our line items that will not, come in as anticipated for the year. We do have another, like interest running over and grants running over at this time too, so this is actually a positive on the revenue side. Any questions on any of those?
Have you heard anything about the highway aid? The state, no?
On the
Oh,
what,
The state aid,
for next year?
yeah,
It actually went up next year
it did.
for the city, yes.
Okay.
I don't have the exact amount in front of me, but if you ask me at the council meeting, I'll know. I can show you.
That's good.
I think it's in the $20,000 range. Any other questions? All right, then we'll move on to assigned and unassigned fund balance. And this is what I talk about when I say we're gonna bring other revenues in. You can see we do have this list of projects that we have money set aside for. So sometimes those projects are actually charged to our current year. And then I bring this revenue in at the end of the year. So I'm not constantly making those adjustments throughout the year. It just makes it more simple for me. Otherwise, I think the only change was we had a few more downtown facade expenditures, and I think Chad still has a few of those hanging out,
Yeah,
so,
there's some out there yet.
yeah. But otherwise, there are no changes within this assigned and unassigned fund balance from last month. Then we move on to wheel tax. Currently, the two projects we have going on are North Street and the House Alcon Engineering. I think that's starting to come to an end out there also. But I know Robert also applied for a Wapaka County grant again for next year, so I'll be updating that depending on what happens with that and what that project is gonna look like. And that's the wheel tax, and then the bonding report looks very much the same. Here's the House Alcon roads that was bonded for, our library donation, and then the HVA system. I know they're working on that too at the senior center. Any questions on any of that? And I'll move on to my report. So finalize the budgets, as you know, the general fund debt service and wheel tax, and presented that at council. And then prepared the information that we have to put in the paper, which has to be 15 days prior to the next council meeting. And got that in the paper, finalized the 26 budget, and I presented that on 26 sewer budget. Presented that on Monday night. Was in contact with Johnson and Block about the sewer rate study, and that information was also presented at the Department of Public Works meeting on Monday. I attended a CIVMIC annual meeting. At that time, we go through a lot of insurance products, programs, and services by the CIVMIC staff. Department heads are working on their 26 capital project saving equipment's need list for 10 years. We will be getting together and discussing needs as a group on the 18th. April puts that information, everyone sends that information over. April, she compiles that for us. And then we go through it as a department head group and start to prioritize. Just a reminder that that meeting will be immediately following finance next month. So we will have back-to-back meetings next finance and then capital equipment and projects. It's hard to believe, but we're gearing up for tax collection season. I have not actually calculated those taxes, but there's a lot of things that we have to do behind the scenes getting ready, including usually refamiliarizing ourselves with all the processes and who's going to take care of what and it's Christmas time and Thanksgiving time and who's going to be in the office, make sure we have people here and all those kinds of things. We had Civic Rep John Rowe here, and he did an annual update on our hearing conservation and bloodborne pathogen training. He actually does a very nice job presenting that to us in more of a fun manner. It makes it a little more exciting than just coming in and talking about it, so he does a really nice job with that. I updated the financial information every month. I do that for this meeting. Working through the nuances of personal property tax, statement of taxes, the assessed values, and starting to receive information from the taxing jurisdictions to begin putting the information together for the tax bills. So now it's kind of a get through, our budget hearing and then wait for all of the information, because we actually compile the tax bill within this office for all of the jurisdictions. So they send me all their tax levies, and then I put the tax bill together and send it off to and then we continue to provide information for the library grant, in fact, I just saw something come through about a desktop audit. So take a look at that tomorrow and see what's needed for that. Any questions? Thank you.
If you don't have any questions, for a motion to adjourn?
I'll second Tim's motion.
Made by Mr. Roberts, second by Mr. Shea. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.